Good afternoon, entrepreneurs. One of the things that I understand is that when I say bookkeeping, many of you don't understand what I mean. I thought I was being pretty plain when I would say, well, bookkeeping, because to me, I understand bookkeeping involves a whole lot. It's not just keeping up with your receipts, because number one, we don't use receipts. That is not even legal and they are not verifiable. So that means if you use receipts to put together financial statements, you really have nothing. So I don't even use receipts, but that's another video. But when I say bookkeeping, business strategy, business coaching, business structure, we start with a business plan. As I have said so often, a business plan is really for the entrepreneur. It's for the CEO. It's for the hustler who wants to turn his hustle into a business. The business plan will lay out everything. It gives you a place, a foundation to build. That way, when the business has some downs, and every business will, I do not care what your business is. I don't care if you cook and the food is so good that it tastes like angels made it. You're going to have a time in your business where that business will lull. I don't care if you sew and you sew like angels sewed. You're going to have a time where your business sales will go down. It doesn't matter what business you're in, you're going to have a time of down. That is the cycle of life. That's the cycle of business. That's the way everything works. We've got to stop looking and go, and that's not negative. That is reality. And when you are grown and when you are making boss moves, you use real information, and we do not use monopoly ideas because we're not playing with monopoly money. We are talking about structure and strategy. So we start with a business plan. As your business coach, we're going to go over a plan and we're going to talk about scenarios. And there are times in our planning and our writing of the business plan that it's going to make you feel mad. It's going to make you feel sad. There will be times where you will wonder, like, is she for me or why is she putting negative thoughts in my head? And it's neither. I am giving you the information, the real information, so that you walk into your business like a boss. Maybe you've already started the business and maybe you hit a lull and you're like, okay, now I need to pivot. I need to borrow money. We're going to do a business plan. We're going to put a structure together. We're going to look at your finances. And that's where the bookkeeping comes in. Because in order to qualify for a loan, you've got to know where you've been so you can see where you're going, where the ups and downs are, where you need to pivot, what season of the time of the year where you're not making a lot of money, where's the season where you make a lot, what is it that makes that season great versus another one. For example, I have a client who has part of his contract is having schools. In the summertime, he noticed that his business went down. Kids are not in school during summer, so they were not partaking of the product. So then we had to start looking at, let's acquire customers that are more seasonal, and let's make up that amount of money by adding other customers. We did not get rid of the school. No, we did not. We added, but we knew who we were targeting. So whenever he was doing sales, he knew how to target the right people. And so it made up the difference. So instead, now his sales still went down in the summer because you cannot make kids be in school when they're not, or use your products when they're not in school if the product is at school. Makes sense, right? However, we were able to control how far the money went down. You feel me? That's strategy. That's taking and looking at, and it began with bookkeeping, right? We did the bookkeeping. We looked at it. It was like, oh, your sales were low right here. This made you not have as much money. Did you notice it? In his cash, he didn't notice it because he has been with the girl, the queen bee, for years, so he was still able to pay himself. He was paying himself, but the business wasn't retaining as much money. You can tell, you look in your bank account and you don't see as much. But because we had the bookkeeping, we were able to use strategy to change the way we went after certain customers. And now he has a balance. And he have a balance that makes him kind of not perfect every month, but it evens out so that his business, the ups and downs, are not as far down as they used to be. And then there's some months where they're soaring. But he never would have had that without the business plan, without the strategy, and without the bookkeeping. The bookkeeping laid the foundation for great strategy. I always say good business and better business begins with good books. If you don't know what's going on in your business, you have no reason, you have no valid explanation, you have nothing to change. You really don't. There's no way you can make a change when you don't know what's going wrong. So you've got to sit, and I'm not telling you to sit and look at it. That's why you hire me. And then we sit and I review the numbers with you, and I tell you how I came up with them and where they're from and how we can move and do it better. Another example, you know that we've had a lot of natural disasters, and I have a lot of clients in logistics. So when we had in Texas, it was in 2024 that we had like a month of rain, flood, and some of them could not go. Well, they had great bookkeeping, which meant that there was money, and when the SBA declared certain areas a natural disaster, then they were able to get money. They were able to show, oh, look at what I was making before and look at what I have not been able to do. And they got loans for pennies on the dollar. So their business never had to stop. They were able to still be at home. Now, let me correct myself. They were not able to move in business, but their financial income did not cease. They were able to keep money and be ready when it was time to go. They were able to take that time to do repairs on their trucks and everything, and they were still able to take care of their personal bills. And when the flood let up and they could go back, they did not lose a beat. Everything was not in jeopardy. Why? Because we had a business plan, because we had bookkeeping, and we were able to do a strategy. It is all connected. So when you hear your girl, the Queen Bee, say bookkeeping matters, we're not just talking about receipts. We're not talking about receipts at all, because they are not verifiable. And so that is like nothing. It will not stand up in court. It won't stand up at a bank. It won't stand up with investors, not investors that's got a brain. And most people that's going to invest in your company, they at least have a brain. If they don't, they're going to have somebody like me who will verify. And when you cannot verify that through the bank statements because you are not structurally right and because you do not take care of business, hello, you're not going to get the money. So bookkeeping, business structure, business coaching, it is all connected. And you need to call me so that next year, and when things go down and when things get worse, that you do not have to fall. It's been your girl, the Queen Bee.